Today I've got a easy one for you. We're going to start the day with a quick tune-up. We've got a plug wire set. We have, a set of spark plugs and a fuel filter that are going to be going on a 2001 Ford Ranger with the 2.3. Now this 2.3 is not the older style dual plug 2.3. This is only a single plug. And if I get right up in here, you can see here's our plug, our boots that go over top of our spark plugs. They run right down the top of the cylinder head. This is going to be, should be a nice, quick, simple, easy process. So I'll get you set up and we'll get started. Okay, so on this one, our spark plug gap is anywhere between, it's between 1.05 and 1.15 millimeters. So I'm just going to use my 1.12 millimeter, and we're going to set our gaps based on that. And there's just a little bit of drag on there, which is exactly what you want. I'm going to check the rest of the plugs, and then we'll get set putting them in. Or pulling the old ones out first. And on these particular plugs, it's a 5/8 plug socket. Make it nice and easy. Sometimes to get these off, if you can get in there with a pair of long pliers, long needle nose pliers, you can kind of wiggle them, give them a little twist, and they'll pop right off. The boots, I don't know if you can see down in there, they actually don't look like they're in too bad a shape. They're pretty clean. They've been using the dielectric grease on them, so they're not in too bad a shape. We'll double check everything over once before we put it all back together. Got a 6-inch extension on there to give me a little more room to get down in on the plug. There we go. Alright, I'm going to get a little bit longer extension. Okay, and as you can see, that spark plug, let me see if I can get it to focus here. That spark plug's not in bad shape. It is a little dirty. It's got a little wear on it. We're going to go ahead and swap them out. Before you put your new spark plugs in, don't forget to get a little anti-seize down on the threads. Most of your newer engines are going to have aluminum heads, and if you thread a steel spark plug into an aluminum head without some form of anti-seize or some barrier in there, they can seize in the threads and actually pull the threads out the next time you pull the spark plug. And so it's always good to get a little bit of anti-seize lubricant down there. And then you always want to start them by hand, even if you have to use an extension. That way you don't, if you cross thread them, you'll feel it. Once you get them in there, a few threads, you can go ahead and put your ratchet on there and run them down tight. Excuse me. A random call from Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. That one's good and tight. Now, I'm just going to drop that back into the, well, this truck, just so you know why I'm looking this over so well, this truck only has 142,000 miles on it. The gentleman that owns it just purchased it for a very good price because it had a clutch issue. Turns out the throwout bearing was blown out. I've actually taken another video of us replacing the throwout bearing. I don't know if it'll get posted before or after this one, but we did that yesterday. Did the upper ball joints on it, but pretty much the gist of the story we got from him was the girl that owned it, it appears she just had a clutch put in it, and then I don't know whether it was just a bad throwout bearing or what the issue was, but the throwout bearing went out. She got frustrated, didn't want to put any more money in it, and decided to sell it cheap. So he got a really good deal on it. So we're just going through, it looks like she actually did keep up on the maintenance fairly well, but we're just going to go through and double check everything, make sure everything's still in good shape. Let me get that out of my way. All right. Fish that down into the hole. Same thing here. Don't forget your anti-seize, and I always like to put the anti-seize on after I slide it into the plug socket. That way I don't end up with that stuff all over my fingers, because it will get everywhere and it never comes off easy. You just want to slide them in nice and gently, that way you don't ding your electrode on anything and change your gap while you're putting your spark plugs in. When you're trying to torque something with these extensions on here, you really need to brace against the head of the ratchet to push back the opposite direction to keep your extensions nice and straight. Otherwise you'll pull off to one side and you can break things off. A little bit of dielectric grease in there. Make sure that way the spark plug boots come off nice and easy the next time. And it'll keep moisture buildup. It'll keep moisture from building up inside the plug wires. Okay. You just have to be real careful. You don't want to, and I am going to release this one. There we go. It's down on there now. Oh, that's tight. Now, I will have to be careful threading that back in that I don't cross thread it, because I am going, it is a little bit of an odd angle. There we go. I got my short extension on the bottom now. That way, hopefully I can get that straight in the hole. There we go. There's that one. And we're going to take, where'd it go? That's the back one. Oh, there it is. We're going to leave that plug wire off to the side. And we're going to do this back one, and then we'll put them both back on at the same time. Now, here again, see the wire, watch that wire. I'll just move this one over here. That way we know where it belongs. Okay, now I got that one broken loose. So I'm going to cheat a little on the removal. All right. And then, let's see, this is our back one. Give it a little shot of dielectric grease there in the end. And I apologize if you guys are having trouble seeing. I'm not having the greatest time seeing myself while I'm doing this. And pop that one in. Same thing here. A little grease, and we're going to drop it right, there we go, right down in the hole. Nope, didn't go on. You should feel it just snap onto the top of the spark plug. There we go. And then we'll plug that back in. Can't forget to plug your sensors back in, because if you do, you'll end up with a check engine light as soon as you start the vehicle. While we're under here, I'm gonna move you a little bit. We're gonna take a look at the air filter. I'll show you how to get in the air filter box. On these Fords, it's easy. Stinking killer. Sorry. We'll just slide everything up the hood, and yep, you got a pretty good view here. If you look down here, there's a clip right here and a clip right back here. You pull them toward the air cleaner box, and then you can lift up on the whole thing. Now the hard part is actually fishing it out from behind that AC line. But once you get it clear of that, you can actually you kind of kink your intake hose a little bit and you pull it back. And here's our filter. Yeah, it's a little dirty. Really, it's not too bad a shape. I will call in and have them send a new one out, but in the meantime, in case we need to move the truck, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in and put the air box back together. That way, if we do need to move the vehicle, it's got an air filter in it. Never want to run a vehicle without an air filter. Okay, on the Fords, they mount the fuel filters down here on the frame, on most of them. And I'm trying to get some light on it. They're actually fairly easy to remove. Most of them you don't really need any special tools. This one, they've got the plastic clip on the front of the fuel filter right there. And then on the rear, you may need a release tool for these. I don't believe so though. I think you just slide them out. So they're actually fairly easy to get on and off. And then you got the bracket there that holds it, that more or less it just snaps into. I say more or less because it's not always that easy. But I'm going to strap you up right back here. Give me a second and we'll get to it. Now you can do this. You can do the fuel filter very easily in your driveway. Would highly recommend, especially if you're going to be doing it on your back. You've got to get the pressure out of the fuel system. Even if you do though, you are still going to end up with a little bit of a siphon effect. Once you start, you're still going to have some fuel up in the lines that's not under pressure that is going to try to leak out on you. So there are definitely a good idea to have a drain pan handy. Try and collect it so it doesn't end up all over the place. And make sure you have your safety glasses on. Because if you're on your back on a creeper, on the ground, you're probably going to be wearing some of it. And see, you just get a little screwdriver up underneath of it, you can pry that clip right out most of the time. Once you get it up that far, I'm just going to step back. And I'm going to pause you for just a minute because I've got a customer. Oh, excuse me. All right, I'm back. We're going to get this sucker pulled off. I'm just working it off nice and gently because, yep, see, there goes the fuel. I'm just going to point that down into the drain pan to get it out of my way. And let's see here. Yes, these you push in on that, and it will actually release the clip, and you can pull it off. Oh, like I said, you're gonna get gas. You'll have it running down your arms, everywhere else. There we go. We're just going to set that in there for a moment. Okay, and on this '01 Ranger, this uses Motorcraft part number FG1071. They used a different style fuel filter on the older Rangers. And it actually comes with the new bracket, but a lot of times you can snap them in, snap them back, or snap them out and snap them back in just about as quickly and as easily. Your small line slides on the bottom. You slide it in there, it clicks on, big line on top. And then, bring my little clip. And that goes on there just like that. And then the clip point, you want to set it up so the clip points just like that. And wait a minute here. There we go. It snaps in just like that, and you are done. And then you see how black that gas was? Oh, you can't. Sorry. I got you pointed out. I'm not grabbing the camera because my hand's covered in it. But there was quite a bit of crud in that fuel filter. Now, I'm going to shut you off and I'm going to go wash my hands. But hopefully, let me see here. You see how the new fuel filter is all set up in there? And that green and that red clip, those are what you push in on to release these. You push them in, hold them, and just pull back on the line. So, hopefully in some way, shape, or form, this video helped some people. If you enjoyed it, please comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you very much.